I'm George Lang, and this is Static. My guests today are the Guggenheim Grotto. Irish singer-songwriters Kevin May and Mick Lynch came out of the same fertile environment that produced Damien Rice and Glenn Hansard. And in 2006, they released their debut CD, Waltzing Alone, which was immediately championed by American tastemakers such as Nick Harcourt of KCRW, and immediately rose to the top of the iTunes folk chart. Their new CD is called Happy the Man. This is the Guggenheim Grotto.
Well, I think people comment on our vocals together, that's kind of our, I guess it's our
Forte.
Yeah, our signature sound is our two voices together.
So as soon as I stopped wanting to be the lead singer, then it clicked. I just sat in nicely.
Have you stopped
behind.
wanting to be the lead singer?
Yeah, I think. I sent 2 CDs off to a guy who got in touch on MySpace, a guy called Carl Mullen. I had no idea who he was. He said he was a radio guy, and I didn't realise he runs World Cafe in Philadelphia, and he works with WXPN in Philadelphia as well. So I sent off 2 CDs thinking nothing of it. You know, we had just released in Ireland, and we were just really concentrating in Ireland. It was our first album. We'd only grown up in Ireland, so that's all we knew. We didn't know anything about who or, you know, what made the States tick as regards music, so I didn't know who I was sending it to. And then 2 weeks later I got word that Nick Harcourt was playing it on KCRW, and I didn't have a clue who Nick Harcourt was. It wasn't until, you know, I started delving deeper that it was huge, you know. But at the time we had nothing lined up in the States, so it was kind of strange. It was kind of the cart before the horse. So we didn't know what to do. It wasn't until a year later that we actually signed with a label over here.
We did a residency every Tuesday in Philadelphia, every Wednesday in New York in the living room, and every Thursday in Boston, Cambridge.
Lizard Lounge,
Cambridge. And I thought it was great. We didn't know what to expect. We had been maybe a year and a bit since we had last toured in the States, so I felt we might have lost momentum. And it was great to come back here and just to build again in all those places.
Before we had done tours where we're just breezing into town, breezing out, you know, it really pays to spend a bit of time and get the word.
I really would love to have 2 words that describe us and really capture something. Like hillbilly flamenco. We're not that though. But I don't know, I'd like to be, sometimes I think maybe alternative folk or, you know, indie folk. I like that. Sometimes folk just on its own has connotations of, I don't know,
Iron sweaters
yeah, in Ireland, or
sandals,
fanny packs and sandals here, and we're not necessarily that, but we do have certain aspects of folk like classic songwriting and, you know, following the song more so than relying on production and stuff like that.
I think if you hear Happy the Man though, it definitely isn't folk. It was a weird category. I think it's a weird category anyway. And I think when you put our CD into a computer, it comes up country on your iTunes, which I think that's worse. We might be having a word with iTunes.